Okay, now Jimin Who, they hits daily double estimated revenues of some of the songs, and Jimin's Who is the only one that entered, and the only song from an Asian native act that got into the top 100. Okay, so they estimated that it actually generated 1.18 million in US revenue. So this is just this is just for US, not global. Hi Kathleen, it's okay, we're just starting. So this is just for US. Just remember that this is not global. So many were asking like how did they actually compute the 1.85.4 million, and for them the more important question, how much of it is going to okay, so before I answer this question, I guys, you don't have to worry about Jimin's money or the money of any BTS member. They're so rich, so don't worry about them. They have a really good contract. um but I do understand it's just curiosity, right? So let's try to, besides computing one artist, will kind of give you an idea on how other artists are also getting their income computed. Okay, so the Hits Daily Double actually published this. So they segregated the sales and the streams. So total sales in the US alone is 131 units. So this is pure sales, okay? And then for streams, 381,315,000 streams. All right. So they said that the revenue for sales is 119,198. That's going to give us about 0.91 cents unit per unit, which is kind of pretty accurate. So this is just, yeah, it's pretty accurate. It's about right around that, is the it's about 97 or something. So that's okay. Now, remember again, this is just the US. Now, how do we determine the computation for the streams? All right. So um Spotify, it's not, this is just not just Spotify. This is Apple Music, Napster, Amazon Music. These are all of those things. Okay. So for Spotify US, according to their site, it has generated 253 million 19,695 streams. Now, Spotify pays about 0.003 in every stream. The artist, sorry, the song, not the artist, the song itself earns about 0.003 cents, okay, per stream. The entire song earns about 0.003 streams. So now we're going to assume, because 253,19,695 is as of yesterday. So let us assume that by the end of 2024, the total streams were 225 million. They're just to be conservative about it. So that means 156 million actually came from other sources, Apple Music, Amazon Music, which only means we are underutilizing all of those streaming platforms. 225 million coming from Spotify, 156 coming from other sources, including Apple Music and Amazon Music. It's They are underutilized. If we can dominate those, I can promise you we'll have no no problem dominating the charts. So we just need to. I always say this. I actually started saying this when Jin released Running Wild. If you have a main, like for example, you really like your Spotify, you're comfortable with Spotify, that is fine. But if there are, you can get a streaming, temporary second streaming account. All you have to do is get in touch with accounts that are funding for for a certain project. So I have never tried it because I already have two. I'm about to have three paid streaming platforms because my mom wants one. So if what you can do so what I was told they do, this funding accounts is that they will give you the account and you can only play their playlist, and that playlist will be primarily dominated with whatever it is that they are supporting, which I feel is fair because when they raise the money, that's what the donors know of. So that is fair. So for example, for Running Wild, if you get a second streaming premium account, then you will be able to stream from for Jin without disturbing your own playlist. Does that make sense? So you can get to Apple Music, Amazon Music, Deezer, YouTube Music, all of those things. Okay. So again, because Spotify, even though they contributed the most amount of streams, 253 million, they are paying the lowest. Six. So of that, the song only earned 675,000 US dollars. For 225 streams, Spotify paid them 675,000. Okay. So for somebody like, for example, for you and me, 675,000 sounds pretty good, right? But if you're just one person, that sounds pretty good. But if you're like a team, so um, you know, so the rest 1 million, more than almost 1.1 million, is coming from Apple Music and all those stuff. Even though all those streaming platform, even though they only contributed 156 million streams. So, which leads me to this. Spotify pay point, this is an estimate, okay? This is an estimate. It's not like, remember there are different deals, licensing, labels, whatever. So this is just an estimate. So Spotify Music is paying 0.003. Apple Music pays 0.01. Imagine the difference per stream. And then Amazon Music pays 0.004 to 0.008. Napster, that's Napster, not Spotify. They pay 0.005, I think 0.005 to 0.001. So the biggest is Apple Music, Napster, and Amazon. They're bigger in terms of payout. So the thing is that, so if it earned, for example, 1.7, you have to divide it among labels, distributors, management companies, producers, composers, and the performer. So that 1.7 doesn't go to Jimin. That's not, that not everything is going to go to Jimin. You do have to pay other people first. Okay. So that's how much. Usually the rule of thumb is that if you are a singer songwriter, you get about 30%, right around. It's not set in stone, but it's a good starting point. The thing is that Jimin did not write Who. He sang it, but he didn't, and he's not credited as producer, even though I feel that he should have been credited as producer. But anyway, so that's aside. About 30%, but because he's not a singer-songwriter, he's gonna get less than that. Now, don't be depressed because streaming was never really a major source of income for artists. So it's, don't feel like, oh my god, 1.7 is gonna get less than whatever. It's not it's not a major source, revenue source for them. Concerts and brand deals, those are the major revenue source. So if you're going to get a subscription, I am really advocating for Apple Music, Amazon Music, and Napster over Spotify. Or if you want to get an alternative, a second premium account, go to funding accounts. They'll give it to you. You will have that account for as long as the project is on. So for example, if the project is to push a certain song for 3 months, then that second account will be active for 3 months. 30%. Why do people go into music? That is not just music, like entertainment in general. I believe the first time I heard somebody talking about this was Eminem. He said that, like, oh, he was when he went to look at the numbers, his financials, he remembered seeing, like, realizing that of the, for example, of the 1 million that he's gonna get, that he was paid, he's only going to be taking home 30% of that, so about 300,000 if he earns 1 million. And it was like, oh my god, like, I'm working for, like, majority of my income is actually getting is for other people. But then you also have to think about the fact that if it wasn't for that 70%, you're not going to have your 30%. Because remember, you do need to pay taxes, fees, accountants, lawyers, your managers, agents, staff, all of those people. So yeah, that's essentially how it goes. Now it can go up and down or whatever. There's a lot of other considerations. So for a bigger star, you might get a bigger cut, but 30% is sort of a good starting point. Okay, that's just a starting point, not like the absolute rule of thumb. Just a starting point. Okay. Do you have questions? YouTube Premium lets you stream music. So is I saw a question, you is this YouTube count? Yes, it is a stream. Although it's better if you have YouTube Premium, YouTube Music Premium. Okay. Question. Amazon Music now bundles Audible. So if you're a book listener, then there's a good deal now.